Once upon a time, in a quiet corner of England where the rolling hills curved like soft green waves, there sat a small village named Brookshire. It looked like something out of an old painting, with cobblestone lanes, moss-covered roofs, flower boxes under every window, and warm chimney smoke drifting through the air like quiet whispers. In this village lived a woman named Eleanor, whose kindness seemed to touch everything around her. People often said that Eleanor didn't walk through the village, she glowed through it. She had a gentle smile that made strangers feel at home and a calm voice that could ease even the most troubled heart. She lived in a modest cottage with her husband, William, a man just as gentle and humble as she was, though slightly more absent-minded, as most passionate teachers tend to be. William was the village's English teacher. He spent his mornings among chalkboards, worn-out books, and eager students, teaching them how to read, write, and speak the language he adored so much. To William, English wasn't just a subject. It was his world. Words were not ink on paper to him. They were tiny doors to feelings, memories, dreams, and freedom. But for all his love for language, William carried a quiet emptiness inside him. He had never found a partner who truly shared his love for English, someone who understood the magic of words the way he did. Even Eleanor, with all her goodness, didn't share his passion. She supported him and loved him deeply, but literature simply wasn't a world she lived in. William often felt that part of him, the part that saw stories in the wind and poetry in the rain, had no one to share itself with. Then, one chilly autumn afternoon, everything changed. It was a beginner's English class at the Brookshire Community Center. The students sat in a scattered line of wooden desks. Some were excited, some anxious, some simply forced to attend by their families. But in the very back, almost hiding behind an oversized coat, sat a young woman whose eyes held a mixture of fear and hope. Her name was Anna. She had arrived in the village only a month earlier. Her foreign accent made her shy. Her broken English made her quieter. And being far from her homeland made her heart heavy in ways she didn't know how to put into words. Anna's husband had brought her to England in search of better opportunities, but he worked long hours, leaving her alone most days in a place where she couldn't understand the conversations happening around her. William noticed her immediately, not because she tried to stand out, rather because she seemed to be trying so hard not to. Her hands trembled when she copied letters from the board. Her eyes followed every word he spoke, not wanting to miss even a sound. When she tried to speak, her sentences fell apart, yet she still gathered the courage to try again. There was something beautiful in her determination, something brave. Over the following weeks, William watched her progress with a growing admiration. She never missed a class, never complained, never gave up. While others sighed or joked, Anna sat quietly, absorbing every lesson like a thirsty plant drinking rainwater. One evening, after the class had ended and the other students had left, Anna stayed behind, lingering near her desk. William was packing up his books when he noticed her small, hesitant step toward him. "Sir, I want to ask," she said, searching for the right words. "I want to learn more." William paused, then offered her a warm smile. "Of course. What would you like help with?" Anna held up her notebook. Her handwriting was shaky, some letters backward. She seemed embarrassed. "I try. Every day I try. But English, very hard." William took the notebook from her hands and flipped through the pages. Each line showed effort. Every page showed courage. "I can help you," he said softly. "If you want, we can meet for extra lessons." Anna's eyes widened with relief and gratitude. "You teach me? After class?" "Yes," William replied. "I'd be happy to." Anna nodded eagerly. Thank you so much." That simple exchange marked the beginning of something neither of them could have predicted. Over the next few weeks, William and Anna met for lessons every evening in a small study room at the community center. Sometimes they practiced reading aloud. Sometimes they talked about simple things, the weather, food, the village. But slowly, as Anna's English improved, their conversations grew deeper. "What books you like?" she asked one evening. William chuckled. "Oh, that's a long list, you tell," she insisted with a shy but eager smile. So he told her about Dickens and Austen, about Shakespeare and Old English poetry, about stories that shaped him since childhood. Anna listened with the fascination of a child hearing fairy tales for the first time. "You love words," she said softly one night, almost as an observation rather than a question. "Yes," he replied. "I always have." Anna closed her notebook and held it against her chest. "I want love English too," she said. "Like you." William felt a warm flutter inside his chest. He wasn't sure why. Day by day, Anna began speaking more confidently. She started greeting villagers in English. She began helping neighbors with small tasks. Her smile returned, a smile that had been lost since she moved to England. And in all this, William saw not just a student, but a woman with depth, intelligence, and an unbreakable will. He began looking forward to their lessons. Sometimes he caught himself thinking about her outside of class, wondering how she felt, wondering if she was adjusting to life in Brookshire, wondering if she felt lonely. One evening, after a long lesson filled with laughter over mispronounced words and shared stories about their lives, William walked her to the cottage where she lived with her husband. "Thank you," she said, gripping her notebook. "You helped me more than you know." "I'm glad," he replied. "You're a remarkable student." Anna looked down at her shoes. For a moment, her cheerful expression dimmed. "My husband." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "He say I learn English faster. He say I talk more now. But he not like that I go out much." William felt a small ache in his chest. "Does he support your learning?" Anna hesitated, then shrugged slightly. "He work a lot. He tired. He say I should stay home more. But I want learn. I want talk to people. I want belong here." Her voice cracked just a little at the end. William placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You do belong here, Anna, and I'm here to help you. Anytime." Anna looked up at him, her eyes soft, almost grateful beyond words. "I know," she whispered. And that moment stayed in William's heart for days. As winter arrived and snow blanketed the village in white, their lessons continued. They drank warm tea, practiced vocabulary beside the crackling fireplace, and sometimes sat in long, comfortable silences. English was no longer just a subject for Anna. It was becoming her bridge to the world. And William, he was becoming her bridge to hope. Yet neither of them spoke about the quiet shift happening between them, the growing warmth, the gentle trust, the unspoken connection that felt like the slow blooming of a flower in the coldest season. But change was coming, and soon their hearts would be faced with decisions they never expected. Winter melted into spring, and with it the village of Brookshire began to stir again. Snowdrifts turned into ribbons of flowing water, crocuses pushed through the thawing earth, and the trees that once stood bare now dressed themselves in delicate green leaves. The entire village seemed to breathe again, waking gently from a long slumber. For William and Anna, spring brought something else, a growing closeness neither of them fully understood, yet neither could ignore. Their English lessons had quietly shifted from strict grammar practice into long, heartfelt conversations. William sometimes caught himself waiting for the evenings more than he should have, and Anna found herself smiling for no reason when she walked to the community center. The villagers began noticing how much her English had improved, and soon she was able to converse with almost anyone. Good morning, Anna. Mrs. Woodley, the elderly baker, called one day. "Good morning." Anna replied brightly. William stood nearby, watching with a quiet pride. He had taught many students in his life, but Anna's transformation was unique. In her eyes, he saw gratitude, trust, and a soft warmth that made the world feel gentler somehow. One evening, after their lesson, Anna lingered by the door. "I want to show you something," she said with a shy smile. William raised an eyebrow. "Show me." "Yes, come." She led him outside, where the air was cool and the stars shimmered like tiny lanterns. They walked through the narrow village paths until they arrived at a meadow behind the community center. The wind carried the scent of fresh grass. Anna kneeled and opened a small notebook, not the one she used in class. This one was hand-decorated with little pressed flowers on the corners. "What's this?" William asked. She took a breath. "My diary." In English, William felt a flutter of surprise. She had been writing on her own, something she had never mentioned. "You wrote all this?" She nodded. "Yes, every night. To practice. May I read it?" He asked. Anna hesitated, then gently handed it to him. "But Don't laugh. I would never. William flipped through the pages. Her writing was simple, but it was real, full of honest emotions, memories, fears, and small joys. She wrote about the cold mornings, the strange new foods, the sounds of the village, and the loneliness she felt when she first arrived. Then the entries shifted. I meet new people today. My English teacher helped me much. I am not afraid to talk now. Because he tells me I can, I think. I am becoming stronger. Page after page, William read her heart laid bare. And in the later entries, he saw something that made him pause. I feel safe when he teaches me. He listens when no one else does. Sometimes, I think the world is kinder because he is in it. A silence settled between them. Anna looked down, twisting her fingers nervously. You read too much, she whispered. William closed the notebook gently. Anna, this is beautiful. She let out a breath she had been holding for too long. I want you know. You change me. You help me feel like I belong. Her voice trembled with honesty. And I want to say thank you. Truly. The air grew quieter. William felt words forming in his chest, words he wasn't sure he should say. Instead, he simply said, I'm glad I could help you. But the moment lingered like a warm echo. Spring rolled into early summer. Days grew longer, and the lessons stretched into soft evening hours. Sometimes Anna brought homemade food to share, warm bread, herbs from her garden, small dishes that reminded her of home. William loved tasting her culture through her cooking. You cook wonderfully, he said one evening. It is food from home, she replied. When I cook, I feel less. Far, do you miss it a lot? William asked. Anna nodded. Yes, but here I find peace too, and friends, William added. She looked at him with a shy smile. One special friend. A soft silence followed, warm but complicated. As the months passed, their connection deepened beyond teacher and student. They laughed together easily. They shared quiet moments that held more meaning than words. Sometimes Anna told him stories about her childhood, and sometimes he shared poems that moved him. One day, she asked him to teach her how to read poetry with feeling. Not just read, she said. Feel the words like you. William handed her a worn book of poetry. Let's start with this one. It's simple but beautiful. Anna cleared her throat and read slowly, stretching each word with care. Love is not something we find. Love is something that finds us. She paused, then looked up at William. What it mean? He smiled gently. It means love comes when we least expect it. It finds us even when we're not looking. Anna held his gaze a little too long. Oh, she whispered. And William felt something shift. Quiet, undeniable, and frighteningly real. But life is never simple, especially when hearts begin to move in directions they shouldn't. One evening, Anna arrived at the community center looking distressed. Her eyes were swollen, her steps hesitant. Anna, William said, stepping closer. What happened? She shook her head. I don't want to talk. Something is wrong. She tried to smile, but failed. It is nothing, Anna, William said softly. You can tell me. Tears filled her eyes. My husband. He angry. Why? He say I spend too much time outside. Too much studying. Too much English. William felt a knot in his stomach. Did he hurt you? No, she said quickly. He not bad man, just tired, stressed. He say I change too much. He say England change me. Change isn't bad, William said. She wiped her tears. He say I talk back now. I have opinions now. I speak English now, he say. I am different. Her voice cracked. And he not like this knew me. William's heart ached. You've grown, Anna. That's something to be proud of. But he say I should stop lessons. The room fell silent. Do you want to stop? William asked quietly. Anna looked up, eyes filled with pain. No, English is my life now. It make me strong. It give me voice. I don't want stop. Then you shouldn't, he said. She trembled. But he angry. He think. Maybe I learned for wrong reason. The unspoken words hung between them. William felt his pulse quicken. Anna, what reason does he think? She looked directly into his eyes. He think I learned because of you. The world seemed to pause. Neither spoke. Their breath mingled in the quiet. Finally, Anna whispered, he say I look happier. And he say that happiness is not because of him. A heavy silence settled between them. Is he right? William asked softly. Anna's eyes shone with unsaid truths. I don't know, she whispered, though her voice suggested she did. William stepped back slightly, torn between duty and emotion. We should be careful, he said gently. I know, Anna replied, but I don't want lose learning. And I don't want lose our friendship. William's voice lowered. You won't. But both of them felt the shift. Their hearts had already crossed a line neither had intended to cross. As weeks passed, Anna's husband grew colder, more distant. He forbade her from attending lessons. For a few days, she disappeared from class entirely, leaving William sleepless with worry. Then, late one evening, there was a knock on his cottage door. He opened it to find Anna standing there, trembling but determined. I won't learn, she said quietly. I cannot stop. Please teach me, Anna. Your husband, he not here. He left for a job in another town for a week. She swallowed. Please, only this week. I don't want lose my English. William knew the risk, but seeing her like that, fragile yet fiercely determined, he couldn't refuse. All right, he said gently. Come in. They sat by the crackling fire and opened her books, but neither of them could focus like before. Something deeper lingered in the air, emotion, tension, longing, fear. At one point, Anna closed the book and whispered, Sometimes I think, you are the only person who sees me. William's breath caught. Anna, you see me, she repeated softly. Not just my English, not just my mistakes, you see me. Her voice was a confession. William looked into her eyes. I do, he said. The fire crackled between them, warm and dangerous, but he did not move closer. Neither did she. Yet in that silence, something irrevocable formed, a bond impossible to name, impossible to deny. By the time summer reached its height, Anna's life had changed. She had grown stronger, more confident, more aware of her own worth, and William had grown more protective, more connected to her than he had ever planned to be. But fate was preparing something unexpected. And soon, everything would change again. Forever. Summer slowly softened into early autumn, and Brookeshire's hills turned golden. The cool winds carried the scent of ripening apples, and the trees sprinkled the paths with the first hints of falling leaves. Life in the village seemed peaceful, but inside the hearts, a quiet storm was forming. Anna had grown fluent enough to hold conversations with ease. She joked with neighbors, read simple English books, and even helped younger children with vocabulary practice. Every villager admired her transformation, but her husband did not. His trips grew longer, his temper shorter. He didn't understand this new Anna, this woman who had found a voice, a confidence, and a world outside their home. And with every lesson she shared with William, even if just inside her heart, her courage grew stronger. One crisp evening, when the sky glowed orange with sunset, Anna came to William's cottage again. But this time, she wasn't trembling. She wasn't afraid. She looked tired, yes, but also steady, like a woman who had made a decision after months of uncertainty. He opened the door before she even knocked. Anna, he said softly. What happened? She stepped inside and took a long breath. My husband. He leave. William froze. What do you mean? He pack bags. He say England not for him. He say I become too different. He say he go back home. She spoke calmly, but her eyes glistened. He go, William. And he say he not come back. A silence followed, heavy, slow, almost unreal. Are you all right? William asked gently. Anna lowered herself into a chair, her hands trembling slightly. I don't know what I feel. He was my husband, but I was lonely with him. Every day, her voice softened further. When I learn English, I find part of me I did not know. I become myself, and he did not want that version of me. William sat across from her, his heart heavy. I'm sorry, Anna. I truly am. She wiped her eyes. I cry, not because he leave. I cry because I finally feel free, and that scares me. William leaned forward. You're stronger than you think. She met his eyes, and something inside her steadied. Maybe, but you helped me become strong. Their gazes held for a moment that felt longer than time itself, a moment filled with gratitude, pain, hope, and something unspoken. Asterisk. Days passed. Anna learned to live alone. She cooked for herself, kept her home tidy, and continued reading and writing in English. The villagers supported her, bringing her fresh produce or inviting her for tea. And William watched from a quiet distance, careful not to overwhelm her. One afternoon, as the leaves turned golden and drifted gently around the village square, Anna approached him during class, after school. "Can we walk?" she asked, of course, when the day ended and the children skipped home. They walked together along the old footpath that wound behind the hills. The sunlight painted everything in honey-like shades. Sheep grazed lazily in the distance, and near the top of the hill stood the ancient oak tree where the villagers often rested. Anna stopped there, placing her hand on its rough bark. "William," she said quietly, "when I first come here, I was lost. I could not speak. I was afraid. You helped me find my voice. You teach me English, but also life." She turned toward him, her expression open and honest. "I think you changed my heart too." William felt his breath catch. "Anna," she stepped closer. "No need hide, William. We both know. I feel something for you. Something deep. Something real." Her voice was steady, without hesitation. "But I was married then. I never allow myself think more. And now," William whispered. She looked up at him, eyes warm, sincere. "Now I am free, and I want to choose my life." William felt emotions he had suppressed for months rise to the surface. The late nights they spent studying, the gentle laughter they shared, the courage he saw in her every day. He had grown to admire her, to respect her, to care for her more than he ever expected. "I care for you, Anna," he admitted softly. "More than I thought possible." Anna smiled, a soft, trembling smile filled with relief. "Then let me ask you something," she whispered. "Do you want a life with me?" William's heart raced. The weight of the moment pressed into him, but so did the joy. He stepped closer, gently taking her hands in his. "Yes," he said, voice thick with emotion. "I do." Anna closed her eyes for a moment, letting the words sink into her soul. When she opened them again, they glowed with warmth. "Then let us walk together," she said. "Not teacher and student, not strangers from different worlds, but partners." The wind brushed past them, scattering golden leaves around their feet like quiet blessings from the earth. Without another word, William pulled her into a soft, heartfelt embrace, not rushed, not desperate, but full of a love that had grown patiently, gently, and honestly. And for the first time since she arrived in England, Anna felt whole. Months later, the village gathered beneath that same ancient oak tree. The air was filled with laughter, music, and the sweet scent of flowers. William stood dressed in a simple but elegant suit, his eyes glowing with calm joy, and Anna walked toward him wearing a flowing cream gown, her hair decorated with wildflowers from the hills. When she reached him, William took her hands and whispered, "You look beautiful." Anna smiled softly. "I feel home." Their wedding was small but full of love. The villagers cheered as they exchanged vows. Children tossed petals in the air, and Eleanor, gentle Eleanor, wiped her eyes as she watched two souls choose each other in the purest way. From that day on, Anna became not only William's wife but his partner in everything. They taught English together, traveled together, learned from each other, and grew side by side. She brought her culture into his world, and he brought his world into hers. Their differences became strengths, their pasts became stories, and their future became a promise. Years passed. Their love never dimmed. They walked through life hand in hand, creating a story that inspired every villager who knew them. In Brookshire, people still say, "The English teacher and the woman who learned to find her voice taught us all what love really looks like." And so, in that quiet village nestled in the hills of England, William and Anna lived a life full of warmth, learning, and unshakable love, a love that began with language, grew through courage, and lasted a lifetime.